Good evening, everybody. This is part 2 of our business-to-business sales training program. We hope by now you've looked at training number 1. And if you haven't, please go to training number 1 before you come to training number 2. You'll need all 3 before you participate or want to participate in calling on a business, because you want to look professional, you want to be professional, and you want to get the enrollment. So with that, let's start B2B sales training number 2. So the question you need to ask a merchant is, how familiar are you with Groupon? And you as a sales rep or an affiliate need to listen real carefully, okay? Because whether he loves it, whether he hates it, you'll want to just kind of pencil that into a note that you have in front of yourself so that you can go back to the good, the bad, or the ugly based on his response. But at the end of the day, let's say he says, you know what, I hate the dang thing. Say, you know what, I'm sorry to hear that. We've taken the daily deal advertising strategy to a whole new level that helps grow you a loyal customer base and increase your bottom line. Now that's going to pop his eyes open wide open. He says, well, I can't wait to see this because I hate Groupon. But what if he said, I love that platform? The response is the same. That's great, man, because we've taken the daily advertising strategy to a whole new level that helps grow you a more loyal customer base and increase your bottom line. And by the way, you get to stick with Groupon. We're not asking you to leave it. You see how that works? It works real smoothly regardless of his response. But it elicits an opportunity for him to communicate with you on how he feels about the program. Because in all fairness, you should know that going in. You know what you're up against. If he says, man, I hate that stuff, it stinks, blah, 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 blah. So you better know where you're headed so that when you move forward, you have a level of confidence because you've listened to this training. Now what you do is, this aspect of it, you could actually pull these slides, and we'll have it in the back office or certainly on Bitqyck Marketing. But we do an example on purpose because this resonates with the merchant, right? Here's an absolute typical deal on Groupon. And so, hey, listen, Mr. Merchant, here's an example of what happens on Groupon today. This particular one happens to be Midas, and if it's important, it's out of Las Vegas. It's probably not important. But at the end of the day, there's over 1,932 deals done on this one offer that actually includes, a couple of variables. So there's actually 3 offers on one merchant, and they've done almost 2,000 deals. And so it's important for him to see this, because then you're going to go into the fact that, with Groupon, and this is, again, you can go right back to what his negative or positive was, right? Let's say it was negative. Mr. Merchant, with Groupon, Midas only took in 34,285, and they were probably paid in 60 days. And is that the same reason you don't like it? Is they took half your paycheck, they took half your deal, and they didn't pay you for 60 days? Okay, now you're being empathetic, right? You're being sympathetic. You listened carefully when he gave you the answer. So you can capitalize on the fact that you listened to him. You can bring back that pain that we call in the industry, but now you've got a solution to make him feel better. You open the wound, but now you're going to stuff it with all kinds of good stuff that makes him feel good versus feeling crummy. And now you can just sit there and go, hey, Mr. Merchant, the reason I'm so excited to sit in front of you is, our Qyckdeal platform is unprecedented, like we shared with you earlier. It truly has never done before. Look at what the difference would have been for Midas had they been on our platform, because we would have paid them almost $13,000, $14,000 more on the same deal. We would have paid them in 7 days, not 60. They would have earned 257,000 Bitqyck, which is a digital currency I'll share with you later about. But it's a digital currency that can grow exponentially in the years ahead. But hear this, Mr. Merchant, he also would have received 25,100 shares of common stock in Bitqyck Inc., which is a high technology company out of Dallas, Texas. Where else would anybody ever have the opportunity to earn stock in a high-tech company by simply offering a deal that was done on their platform for free? And the more successful they are, the more common stock they earn. That's what I'm bringing to you, Mr. Merchant. I'm bringing you something of significant value. You can be a part of in this company by default. You can earn hundreds of thousands of Bitqyck digital currency that could be worth a ton of money in the future here by default, by simply participating with us versus them. And I'm going to show you how well this pans out for you, Mr. Merchant, because it really does, because it doesn't stop there. See, we also reward there was, what was it? We had 1,932, so excuse me here because I typed it wrong. But there was 1,932 customers with an average of 133 Bitqyck each. Think about that. The customers that went to Midas were now rewarded both stock and Bitqyck by patronizing that store. That's what I want to bring to you, Mr. Merchant. I want to bring you a customer, a loyal customer, a new customer that comes to your place of business because not only does he love your product and service, but he's earning digital currency for his future, and he's earning stock in our company on every single transaction he buys from you or anybody on our platform. So this is a true community program that is going to benefit an enormous amount of people versus just Groupon. Now, we also reward an estimated 1,000 affiliates or more because these were the people that actually helped find you your customer. It's like this gentleman who me, in this case, I'm finding you as a merchant. So you come on board with me, there's a benefit in it for me. I'm not going to lie to you. By me signing you up, I earn a little bit of cash, I earn a little bit of Bitqyck, and I'm excited about getting you on board, but I'm really excited about you having a great experience with us because of all these benefits. But it doesn't stop there. Look at this, Mr. Merchant. Let's go back to the deal. Midas didn't lose any money on any of these deals that they offered. We actually confirmed that. We spoke with them. However, they did note that the full synthetic oil option that they had was just really a tad above break even. But it brought in business, so they didn't care. Now, the two other offers were rather profitable because they too included minor labor costs with a high cost factor into the maintenance package, right? It shows like the value of the offer was really high because they maybe charged $100 for looking underneath the hood, right? But at the end of the day, whatever the reason is, the customer was thinking they were getting $100 and some odd dollar value for $20, $30, or $49, whatever the price points were. And for the merchant, he was all over it because it really didn't cost him $125. It only cost him maybe 10. So anything above 10 bucks is a profit. But here's where it gets really good. And this is what I want to work with you, Mr. Merchant, is whatever deal we create, I want to make sure that you're going, yes, 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 Chris, bring it in, man. Bring me thousands of those because I want you to be happy with our program. And I'm sure between you and anybody that works in your advertising department or just you and I, we can figure out a way to make a profitable offer for you and yet still very enticing for our customer base, so you literally get a bunch of new customers and everybody turns out a winner. But look at this, Mr. Merchant. We learned that Midas would have earned 257,000 Bitqyck with us. Now, I don't know how much you know about digital currency, but at the end of the day, there's something known as Bitcoin. And guys, if you want to include the slide of Bitcoin, you can. I didn't do it in this one because you guys have already seen it. And you're going to take bits and pieces of this and you'll probably make your own deal. But at the end of the day, at some point he needs to understand, especially if he's wrestling with you as to whether or not he wants to get involved or not because he hates Groupon, right? He needs to understand the position right here, the idea of this Bitqyck, the fact that it can grow exponentially, is a huge asset to him, and it could be the thing that takes him over the top, right? So in this case, we literally tell him, you know, our Bitqyck can rise significantly because it's just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin went from 2 cents to $1,200 in 4 years, and they didn't have half the engine that we have driving the value of the coin. And by the way, digital currency is the wave of the future. Whether you and I want to believe that or not, it is. All you have to do is Google this stuff. And we are a US-based digital currency with a magnificent, you know, company behind us with multiple verticals that all are driven to drive the value of the coin. So at 2 cents, that's an extra $5,000 to Midas. At 10 cents, that's an extra $25,000 to Midas. At a buck, that's over $250,000 to Midas. Think about that. What if that's you, Mr. Merchant? What if you acquired 257,000 Bitqyck and it grew to $1? Now our product offering is a heck of an offer, isn't it? Sure it is. What if it grew to 10 bucks? Now, is 10 bucks a stretch? We don't think so. Bitcoin's at $1,200. That's not a big order. The longer you hold on to your coin, the better off it's going to be you, because we're growing exponentially as a company, and we want you to be a part of that growth. And this could be growth for your kids, your retirement, whatever it is that you want to do. This is going to be significant for you by simply teaming up with us with a, again, it doesn't cost you anything. All you need to do is come up with an enticing offer that you're happy with. Now here's another example. This is an example of an Italian restaurant. So the same applies. It doesn't matter who you are, Mr. Merchant. You know, it does matter on the number of transactions. But here's a typical one that happens on Groupon, and this is a 60-day pattern. But this guy's offering a $100 certificate, and he's selling it for $69. Now Groupon's only paying him $34.50, and he does do 3,500 deals in a 60-day period. So all he's getting from Groupon is $120,000 and some change. With Qyckdeals, our platform, look what happens. We're paying him $48, and at 3,500 transactions, that's $169,000. That's $49,000 in cash paid more than Groupon. That's got to help that restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Merchant? Absolutely. We also pay him in 7 days. But here's the kicker. Look at this. Had he earned all these transactions at 2 cents, because the value of the coin goes with the exchange. If the exchange goes up to 4 cents, then he wouldn't get quite as many coins. But at the end of the day, in this example, let's say it's 2 cents, he would have earned 906,000 coins. But he also would have earned 90,000 shares of stock in a high-tech company out of Dallas, Texas. Man, how many small to medium-sized businesses do you know own 90,000 shares of common stock in anything? We can absolutely change the island. We can change the state. We can change the country. We can change the world when this message gets out, which is starting to right now, today, with you. The other thing you have to think about is we've also rewarded 3,500 customers with 259 Bitqyck. They too now hold almost 26 shares of common stock in Bitqyck Inc. When would the average customer ever have stock in any company, much less a high-tech company out of Dallas, for simply shopping a platform? See how brilliant this is? This is incredible. And as if that wasn't enough, we ended up rewarding an estimated 3,000 others who helped find all these customers for this merchant. It's just mind-boggling. And if you know anything about digital currency, Mr. Merchant, is the more people with the currency, the more attractive the value of the coin is, and the more activity that takes place, just like a stock. If a stock is going crazy, people are buying it like crazy. If they're selling like crazy, guess what? It's dropping like crazy. But in this case, there's going to be an awful lot of activity going in the upward direction, which drives the value of the coin. But again, it doesn't stop there. Look what this restaurant earns. This is crazy. It goes back to the same deal. At 2 cents, Now this guy's got an extra $18,000. At 10 cents, he's up to 90,000. At a buck, we've almost made him $1 million. Man, I'd like to get you there and then some. And it doesn't cost you anything. We just need to work our brains together to figure out what would be a fantastic offer for you to benefit from our platform. Sound good, Mr. Merchant? Because I really want to get you enrolled. This is all I need. I need your name of the business, the type of business you've got. We can fill out that. I got most of that. But what I really need from you, Mr. Merchant, is a great deal, a great offer, and what the regular price is. And I'm going to send that into our company at merchants@bitqyck.me. And just so you know, Mr. Merchant, we will not launch in this city until all offers are approved by the merchants and also approved by the company. No different than Groupon. We want to make sure it's a worthwhile offer, and we want to make it sure that you like what you put in and that everything is accurate before we post it. Fair enough? Great, I appreciate that. Now there's one thing that I want you guys to understand here. You could end on that note, right? But in summary, you have to understand as an affiliate that every deal is different. Every merchant personality, his mood, everything changes from one day to the next. Just because he tells you no today doesn't mean it's no forever. What it means is you caught him at the wrong time and he's not bloody interested. Okay, so understand that. There's a lot of people that have never been in this space before, and the very first time that somebody says, get out of my office, they'll never do this again because they take it personally. You cannot take anything personally because it's not about you. It's about how bad of a day they're having, and you walked in at the wrong time. Now, by the way, segment number 4, I'm going to educate you on all kinds of psychology, if you will, when it comes to cold calling customers. But right now, I'm not really interested in you cold calling anybody. What did you learn from this day forward by coming on board with us? You learned that all we want you to do is focus on your hot market. Who is your hot market? Your hot market is the people you know, period. The people you know from a customer standpoint, the people you know from a merchant standpoint. Because they know, like, and trust you, they're most likely to just do the deal with you. But you still need to be professional. You need to know what you're talking about. Because at the end of the day, a business owner is pretty sharp in separating business and friendship. And as a matter of fact, this happened to a friend of mine recently, brand new to selling to businesses. He thought he had the slam dunk opportunity with this particular restaurant, and he got kind of snuffed out. How did he get snuffed out? He got snuffed out because he felt, or he was hoping, that the guy would just sign up with him. What he didn't realize is the guy hates Groupon. Not interested in Groupon, anything associated with Groupon. And because he wasn't prepared with this information that I've shared with you tonight, he was like totally offended. It's blown away. He felt like, man, that's uncool, man. Well, the business owner doesn't have to be cool to you. The business owner is running a business. If it doesn't make sense to him, I don't care how much he loves you, he's not going to do business with you. And so when you bring these strategies to the table for him, and you outline these strategies with him at a time that is conducive for him, not on your time, but on his time, guess what? He'll do the deal with you. Because now he'll understand. Remember, knowledge is power. Lack of knowledge is powerless. And that's exactly what happened to my friend. All right. You also have to understand that every deal has to work for two parties. It has to work for the merchant, and it has to work for the customer. By the way, if it works for the customer and it works for the merchant, it's going to work for Qyckdeals, and we're going to approve it. But if it's a lousy offer and we don't think it's going to work, we're going to ask you to go back to the client and say, is there anything else we can do here to kind of spice this up, make it look better? I don't care if you increase the regular price of something, if that's what you have to do, especially if you have sold it at a higher price point at some point since you've been open. Services are notorious for being able to kind of inflate the price. If you look at Groupon today, which you'll learn on the next presentation, is there's all kinds of inflated numbers because not everybody can mark something off 50% and then take half of that, because now really they're only getting 25% of the total deal. Well, if they're being honest and fair about it, well, since when does anybody have a 75% markup in something to where they'll take 1,000 of those in the door and be thumbs up, baby, keep them coming? Not too many practices. So what happens is a lot of people will literally increase the value of a regular price and go ahead and do a sale. And I'm going to give you an example of Macy's because this happened. I shared this with my brother today. I went into Macy's before I left. I needed a pair of shoes. And so I went in there, and the lady convinced my wife and I to come back tomorrow because they had a 30% off. And it was $100-some-odd pair of shoes, and we figured, heck, we come this way all the time. Why not? So guess what? The pair of shoes would have been $90, right, on their sale price at that time. So we come back the very next day, less than 24 hours, big sale signs all over the place. And I bring the exact same shoes up to the gal, and I said, okay, I'm back. And same girl, right? Same girl. That's what makes this kind of fun. And I said, what's the rate? Here it is. Here's my charge card, $86. I said, wait a minute. Where's the 30? That's only a $4 saving. Where's the 30% saving you were bragging about? She says, oh, they marked it up. Even the biggest stores in the country will mark up the price item just to show you a big discount. And if you think that's crooked, don't lose any sleep over it. It happens all over the place. But it's a strategy, and it's a strategy that works. And it's something that you can work with your client to make sure it happens. When I went and sold Midas of Hawaii, we looked at things that worked and didn't work. Once we found something that really made the marketing director happy, which happened to be his wife, pretty important person to make happy, don't you think? Well, as soon as we found an offer that really made her happy, she turned 180 degrees and said, we're in, Chris. I can't wait. I'm excited. But it's because I took the time to figure out what would work for her, where she would be thrilled to death and the consumer would be going, yeah, I'm saving a lot of money. I want to bring my car to Midas. So folks, I hope you really get that because it's extremely important. So you need to help identify with what works. I gave you the Midas example. In the Guido's example, where he's only getting $34.50 from our friends over at Groupon, he's still doing the business. So something might work, right? I'll tell you what's working. He's not relying on the $34. He's hoping that the customer is going to bring in a lot more people with him. Maybe instead of 2, they're bringing 4 or 5 or 6. And his average ticket for 2 people really isn't $100. It's probably $150 or $200. So he gets to keep everything above $100, and he's already made $34. So if the ticket's $200, now he's made $134 on what? A $200 offer. And now not only does it cover the food costs, it covers all the electricity, all the employees, and puts a little bit of money back in his pocket, because now if you do the math, it's probably sitting around, he's only discounted the whole thing by about 25%. So it's real important for you guys to work with your merchant, make sure we find something that is significant, and always, always drive home the fact that even if he doesn't quite get all his money back that he'd like, our Bitqyck and stock value are most likely going to deliver something he's never even dreamed about before. Never even dreamed about. Remember, if he's sitting on 900,000 Bitqyck off of a 60-day transaction, what if that takes him? What if it takes him all year to earn 906,000 Bitqyck? And he's sitting on 90,000 shares of stock of a high-tech company out of Dallas, Texas. Not only would he be proud to be a part of this organization, he's likely to become rich. With that, that ends our B2B sales training for this module.